There are just fresh tears in my eye. Just finished wiping it off. It's crazy. Hello people of the internet, it's Amanda, and for today's video, I'm actually here to talk about another J-drama. If it isn't obvious in the title of the video, basically, I wanted to hold off on making this one. It's just that when I saw that it's already available with subtitles, I got to watching it, and I just had to sit down and talk about it. Talking about Sakamichi no Apollon, Apollon Slope, Kids on the Slope. Those are the titles that can be associated with this particular movie. And it stars Chinen Yuri Komatsu, Nakagawa Taishi, and even has appearances from Fujioka Dean, blah blah blah. So basically, there's a lot of really popular or familiar names in this particular movie that made it much anticipated ever since it was announced that it was going to be a movie. On watching it, I just finished watching it actually. I still have fresh tears in my eyes. With that said, I do have some thoughts about the movie that would either have you wanting to see it or not wanting to see it, depending on if you like the points or not like the points that I mentioned further into the video. So let's dive into it. Now, first things first, if you're expecting something that is, a teenage, romantic, light-hearted movie, this is not it. If you're looking for something that is exciting or exhilarating or just something that would keep your blood pumping as you watch it, this isn't it. If you're looking for something that has a very significant plot twist or something that is sort of angsty to the point that it's really, really dark and crazy, this is not it. I'm not saying that it doesn't have any angst to it. It doesn't have any sort of dark or deep themes. But I'm saying is that if you're looking for something that's super intense to the point that it's almost convoluted, if you're into sort of those kinds of things, this movie is not it. Last but not least, as I mentioned earlier, it has music as a part of its genre. But if you're looking into something very similar to Your Lie in April or Beck or Bandage, where there's sort of this glory into it, there are geniuses involved when it comes to music, or this is a striving band who wants to finally debut, it's not it. So it's not it. So in my past videos, I always say that when I make things like this, there's gonna be spoilers here and there. But then for this one, I do feel because I want people who are interested in the plot in itself or its themes or something like that to actually sit down and watch this, and I'll try as much as possible to not spoil it for anyone. Again, no promises on that. This is me we're talking about, so there. As I mentioned, if you're looking for romance, this is not it, but that's not totally dismissing the fact that this has a bit of teen romance to it. It's not just something that is as cheesy or it's not a boy meets girl sort of thing. Actually, in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the movie, I thought I accidentally clicked on a BL themed movie. If you don't know what it is, look it up. It's more of just that idea that in Asia specifically, friendships between two girls or two guys, on two or more guys, it's much more, it still digs deep into the whole emotional level of it, unlike Western themes where it's more of bro, we're close but no homo. So it's a very prominent theme in here, and in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the movie, it's established that these two characters were very, very different. I'm talking about the characters played by Chinen Yuri and Nakagawa Taishi. It just shows that even if they're different in their character, one is very rough, a hooligan, something like that, and the other one is someone who is a typical, geeky, aloof sort of person. There's an instant emotional connection there that sort of connects them into being really good friends. And that friendship is mediated by Komatsu Nana's character. Now, it is evident in the first couple of moments in the movie where it was love at first sight for Chinen Yuri's character when he sees Komatsu Nana. So there's some sort of expectation there that, oh, okay, so there is this gonna be like a love triangle thing? I don't know. As I mentioned earlier, I dive into this particular one blind by the entire idea. I just thought, okay, there's music in here somewhere. So yeah, so I honestly didn't know where it was taking me. And so we move into the story, and there are themes of unrequited love, not just for the three main characters, but basically for the other characters around them. But it's not something that was the main or the pivotal idea in the movie. So if you're looking for something with an assurance of, okay, so they're gonna fight about the girl, or the romance that is budding is the one that's gonna like wreck their friendship, definitely not that. So no kind of drama in that movie in here. Okay, with that said, next up is the whole idea of the thrilling suspense or action sort of thing. This one is more of like, there are times when you would feel like if you're looking for something that's very exciting, fast-paced, everything, this isn't going to be the movie for you, because it's sort of like a very linear sort of movie, you know? Like, you know what you're getting into. The plot in itself is very relaxing. There are very like, there are narratives in it that are just exploring into these characters' stories. And if you're not into something like that, something that's just more of like chill, sit down, let's talk about our feelings sort of thing, then you probably, like, this movie would probably lull you out. So again, like, this is probably not for everybody, but if you're into something that is very introspective in a way of like the idea of belonging, or the idea of you know, just hearing your inner voice and finding out who you are, but not in a whole, okay, so I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna try new things, then this one isn't gonna be like that. So in the end, it's more of just a conclusion that ties everything together. So if you're into something that has this particular, okay, change this, this is what's gonna happen to me, I'm gonna do this, I fail and then I stand back up again, not that type of movie at all, just saying. I think the main idea of the movie is that things take time, and whether it's for yourself, for like someone that you have fallen in love with, it's friendship, or just finding your place in the world, time has its own ways of just tying things together. And besides the idea of time, there's also friendship, which is like the main idea of the entire thing. Like here we see three people who have went into like the trouble of finding themselves into this weird group that they never imagined seeing themselves before, fighting because of like this feeling of betrayal, which is very, very dramatic for like, especially when you're in high school, the feeling of betrayal, unrequited love, just not being able to say what you want to say, these sort of things. And then after the conclusion in itself, where time has already passed, it is said there that friendship, you know, even if you haven't seen each other in a while, it would feel like it was just yesterday when you see your friend, and that's what true friendship is like. Now, last but not least, the music. Now, I myself am a music lover. I absolutely love films where it deals with music themes, or just, you know, just musicians in general. I'm not particularly someone who would call myself like a genius when it comes to music, but some of my passions include just singing, composing songs, playing the guitar and stuff like that. I know it's like a whole Asian stereotype where if you're Asian, you couldn't go into like more of the arts thing and you have to focus more on the sciences sort of thing, but it's an actual thing, you know. And yeah, I mean, the idea of it, and that's why I think it's very fascinating also for Asians in general to create films like this. Now, as I mentioned, it's not going to be as grand of a music story as it as a Beck or Bandage. If you've seen those movies, you would know what I'm talking about. But basically, those are like trying to break into the industry, trying to make a name for a band and something like that. But for this one, it's just purely like music just sort of connected these characters so that they would have a common ground, but it's not the entire plot in itself. Music in this way is more of a mediator. It's something that adds to the depth of the entire thing, that music is universal and it reaches people without necessarily using words or using grand gestures. But yeah, as I mentioned, like it's not what makes the plot revolve. It's more of like in the moments where it's in the monumental moments of the movie where it just grounds the characters and who they are. And so there, if you're looking for something that there's going to be a rock out session or something like that, it's not it. Would I recommend this movie? Definitely. Like if you're someone who's very into like very introspective movies that is more focused on like friendships and how deep they are, and just with the added touch of music into the plot and characters that you can actually just see evolve into things, or if you're into conclusions that are somehow open-ended but very lighthearted in a way and has many symbolisms in it, this would probably be the thing for you. But if you're into something that is a more romance, or if you want movies with just tying all loose ends and something that has a really like quick pacing for every single thing, then you might like this one would probably like bore you out or something. It would come off as like too cheesy or too meh for you. But to me, I really enjoyed this one, and yeah, for the reasons that I mentioned, you can either watch or not watch it. So there's that. Yeah, as always, that's basically it. As always, if you have seen this movie or are planning to, or if you have any other recommendations, tell me down in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you're new to my channel and you would want to hear more from me, please hit subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll be seeing you again soon in a new one. Bye!